What's going on, everybody? Hey, thanks for joining me here in the studio. Make sure things are good here. Checking audio. Hey, I want to talk to you guys about shortwave scanners. Prepping comms, right? And talking about I did a couple videos on CB and getting prepping comms all set up and all that. But I just wanted to talk about something different than getting a license for something or having to set up some great big huge station or whatever, I alluded to it the other day. I got a signal coming in here right now. These two fellas are just rag chewing. I can only hear one of them right now, but this is on, these guys are on 80 meters, lower sideband, on the ham radio frequencies. And when shit hits the fan, or you don't have comms or whatever, it doesn't mean you're SOL. It just means you got to do something about it. And instead of getting a license for amateur radio, going through the whole, big deal about getting comms set up, or whatever, GMRS license, ham radio license, setting up antennas for CB, or having the massive expense for GMRS network, whether you do a repeater or not, you still gotta buy radios to use that stuff. Well, I'm going to talk about a few options that will at least get you something, and it's going to be good something. Like, it's going to meet your needs on the basic level, but the only difference is you won't be able to transmit, but you will be able to hear what's going on, just like this.
Those guys in Texas, man, they weren't expecting that, and those houses are not built for that.
He's talking about a Texas disaster, kind of fitting for the video. Anyhow, I don't know what's on 80 meters right now. I just tuned in and found these guys. Let's scroll down here. See what we can get real quick. If you don't mind scanning with me, this is kind of what you can expect. Hopefully we'll get a channel coming in. It's going to prove me wrong. $80 meters is pretty dead right now. That's the same guys.
My heating units, and then the fan only comes on. I can heat that way. And then
let me show you what I'm doing here, so you can get an idea.
And then I also have propane heat, so I got 3 different methods. Right now I'm running electric heat because it's not that cold, but when dead winter comes in, I definitely run the propane. And I did hear another station out there, so maybe you can pick them up. KE7INV for ID. Back to you, Ryan.
Okay, I'm only gonna get the one side there, but this is my new transceiver, or excuse me, new receiver. It's not a transceiver. Yeah, I'm kind of picking the other guy up just a little bit, but this thing is brand new. I've had it for a few weeks, but this is kind of what you're looking at for the top of the line bass unit shortwave receiver, and I've got it hooked into a 80 meter offset or fed dipole that I use for ham radio. So it's got a good antenna on it, but you can kind of see here what it's all about. But you can get these things on, brand new. You can buy them brand new, and I think it's about $400 for that one. But that is going to get you HF and sideband, ham bands, and AM and shortwave. But that thing's about $400. You can buy them on eBay. There's different kinds on there. I just picked up an older one from the 80s for $100. It's a DX200. Really good condition. I brought it home and it's working really well. But there's other options out there too for receiving. And I'm trying to think of this stuff as I go here. So there's a Texan PL330, I believe, for $80, brand new, and it's shortwave receiver, ham bands, and shortwave and it has sideband, single sideband for like $80, I think. But there's lots of options out there. Just have to go to, whether you buy new or not, you don't have to buy new. I would recommend buying used as long as the seller says it's tested and in good working condition. I don't have a problem buying used, but sometimes they'll sell something and they say it's not been tested, it's for parts only or whatever. Obviously you don't want to go down that path. But if you want to get something that's going to work for you, buy a used or some sort of shortwave receiver that has sideband on it that's within your budget, and it'll work as long as you have a really good antenna. And I know there's a lot of people out there do shortwave listening and stuff, but you need a good antenna, and that's the key to radio listening and transmitting for that matter. You can have a kind of a dinky little setup. You don't need the biggest, baddest radio with all the power in the world to get out there. You can have a good antenna and do really well. Same goes for receiving. But that's for HF, and HF is high frequencies, basically the ham radio bands, the AM mid-wave or medium wave and long wave. And most of those radios have FM, the newer ones. Some of the older ones don't, but you'll have a lot of options there with a shortwave receiver, and just get yourself research some antennas. I've used, and sitting right here, I've used a 100-foot speaker wire before, and I still do, and it works well. It doesn't work as good as my 80 meter dipole when you hook that up, but you can get a lot of signals coming in, especially local stuff. If you want to hear what's in your area, like say 40 meters, and I mean area, it could be up to 800 miles or whatever, or further even, but within your region, I guess, you can hear some things with that receiver. And it's, like I said, it's easy. You just have to learn the bands and scanning through, but you don't have to get a license to go through all that stuff. But if you want to transmit, you got to get a license and learn how to use a transceiver instead of a receiver. Now, on 2-meter and or VHF and UHF on the ham bands and other frequencies, there's 220 band that's used, but I would say 2-meter and 70 centimeter are probably some of the most popular ones. You can buy a Baofeng, cheap Baofeng, have it programmed. You can buy a regular ham radio and listen, or you can get I'll show you one of these. This is a I got a few of these things here. Let me put them up here, and so I can show you. But these are this is my old Radio Shack scanner, and this one's a Pro 75. Let's see if I can get a good, oh come on, it's going to be difficult. There you go. 200 channel scanner, and it's got just a little antenna on there. This is extendable antenna, but that's just a handheld scanner. This one happens to be 200 channels, but this will receive, it's like your basic police scanner that we used to use all the time before they went to trunking. You can listen to fire on here still, ambulance, ham bands, UHF bands, and VHF. It's just this one's a handheld that takes 6 AA's, and they just go on the bottom there. You can get a charger for it for the side, a plug-in. This one's had a lot of love on it. I used this thing for work for many years. But that one new was probably, oh gosh, I don't remember for sure, but maybe $100 or something. But here's another one I've used. This one is a Radio Shack. What number is this one? I don't know which one this one is. Anyhow, this is a scanner. You can see on the front there. It's got ham bands and aircraft and fire, a bunch of things already programmed in there that'll bring you to the ham band or emergency band of whatever. And then it's got different options. Same thing here with this is 6 AA's, and that was probably $100. And let me show you this one here. This one, let me get these things out of the way here. I've used these a lot over the years, so they're well loved on. But every single one still works. So this one is what? A Pro Radio Shack Pro 50. They got this one at a ham swap meet for $10. And it had antennas. I just don't have the antennas on them because they're sitting on the shelf. They take up a lot more room. But for $10, I got this thing. And this one's, what? This is only 20 channels. But if you have the certain amount of local frequencies that you have planned out already, researched, you can program them in. You don't need more than 20. I mean, you don't need that much at all. You just need a few to hear what's going on in the area. But $10 right here. And you can buy this extended antenna like this one. You can put a regular old rubber duck on there. Doesn't take a whole lot, but they're all programmable by the front keypad. And usually they're very easy to program. But these scanners will get you the ham bands, the VHF and UHF ham bands. So eBay, again, you can find good deals, and you'd have communications, you'd have comms. Your basic comms would be set up. So if you had this scanner and programmed it in with ham radio, some emergency, maybe even some simplex, there's all kinds of channels, frequencies that would be best suited for prepping comms. And I'm just talking about prepping scenario here, you guys. And this is a cheap way to get really good communication set up. And the better antennas you get, the radios don't matter quite as much. I can hear just as good, just as well on this scanner as one of these other ones. It really boils down to different options and stuff, especially if you have the same antenna. Granted, there is improvement in circuitry and all that stuff, and some of them you get better frequency or better reception, but that doesn't really matter. That's kind of beside the point. These will work in a prepping comm scenario. They don't transmit, they just receive. This one's got 200 channels. I've seen a lot. I just went on eBay and I looked at scanners, and there are a ton of scanners. I'll show you one more here, one more scanner. Click back over to my mobile here. This one is a base station scanner, Radio Shack. I have it plugged in to an external antenna here, and then I also have this antenna that it came with, and it works really well. And this one's, I think it's 200 channel as well. So plus they have weather alert on them. You can, a lot of times you can get them with airband. You can get them with different frequency ranges, but these ones would also receive GMRS frequencies as well. Pretty sure they would. I believe they would. Yeah, I'm sure they would. It's 160 or 460 megahertz. But GMRS, they would also receive FRS. So you'd be able to hear everything except for CB radio on these things, and HF. So if you get either an old ham radio, an old HF radio, or you buy one of these fancy Eaton's Elites like I have, or you can buy a used HF wide range shortwave receiver from eBay. There's a lot out there that you can do. There really is. And my video is getting kind of long here, but I just wanted to share. Let's see here. Just wanted to share some different options besides getting licensed. You don't have to get licensed to have good comms. VHF, UHF scanners, police scanners, type in those. There's a lot of brand new looking police scanner base stations on eBay for cheap, super cheap. In fact, I got my eye on another one I'm going to go look at. But the most difficult part of this is to find if you're going used, is to find a shortwave receiver with sideband, and you can buy new. Just remember, it has to have sideband so you can hear the ham radio bands, because when crap hits the fan, the hams are going to be talking a lot, and it's going to be a good avenue for communications. Emergency or SHTF or whatever doesn't you know, all that stuff doesn't discriminate. When you don't have comms, you don't have your cell phone, you don't have comms at all. So get a way to hear what's going on around you. And between the two, between one of these things and a shortwave, long wave receiver sideband, you've got a lot of comms covered. You really do. Anyhow, I'm going to get off of here, but I have this surprise, kind of a sneak peek here. This is an Alinco DX or DJ VX50. I just got. I've been messing around with it all day. I'm gonna do a review on this thing. I'm liking this a lot, so that's coming in a review. And anyhow, thanks for watching, you guys. Have a good one, and good luck finding your communications stuff. It's a lot of fun, and you know, I think it's really worth it. I think it's one of the things that's overlooked a lot, and I think it's worth checking out. So, all right. Please subscribe if that's what you'd like to do. I'd really appreciate the support, and like the channel and all that stuff. So 7-3, have a good one. We'll see ya.